Stop talking. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Get miles on. Let's see.
Looks like it's nice and sunny in Las Vegas today.
It is. It is. It's nice outside.
Usually is sunny though there, right?
Yeah, but we could have some unsunny days.
Yeah.
But lately we've had good weather all week, so very happy.
We're supposed to get snow on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
I know. Goes all my tulips. Goodbye.
Man.
We're going to give the students about 2 more minutes before we start. Hello, Andre and Alvin. Please turn your cameras on. We'd like to see your smiling faces. Okay, we lost Alvin. He'll probably pop back on. Andre, turn your camera on, please.
Hey, Jane, if you have a quick sec, I'm on a different device today. So like my screen's pretty small. So if you see anything in the chat, can you just let me know? Anything coming through? That'd be awesome.
That's a good point. Rhonda, I don't have access to the chat.
Oh, okay.
With my system. So if you could let us know what comments come through on the chat.
I sure can.
I have to toggle back and forth, and it's too much. So yeah,
sure.
If you guys could, that'd be awesome.
We can do it. Okay, Andre, I got your message. Okay, thank you. No worries. Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas Youth Economic Empowerment Club, Wells Fargo Hands-On Banking class. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we have some very exciting people to help teach our class. I'd like to introduce the team to you. From the 100 Black Men today, we have our CFO, Mr. Daryl Rayford, and we also have our Director of Technology, Mr. Russell Whitmore, and we have our Director of Finance, Mr. Kirk Richards. They're on today from the 100 Black Men team. And on the Wells Fargo side, we have Ms. Jane Pavick. She's VP of Community Relations in the West Coast region. And we have Mr. Damian Freeze. He is a VP and branch manager in Henderson, Nevada. Welcome, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
We are doing fantastic.
All right. So I'm gonna do something different today. Typically, we take a test at the first class so we can just see where your levels are, but we're gonna give people time to get on. So we're gonna start class and then we're gonna take our test at the end. So Daryl, take it away.
Well, I'm glad you're not giving me a pop quiz because I wouldn't do too well right now. I appreciate it. Thank you, young men and women, for participating in this financial literacy program. I am so glad and so honored that you guys find the time and the sacrifice to just listen to what these professionals are saying and take notes, take plenty of notes. And one of the things that I encourage you is subsequent to our meetings, talk to your parents, talk to your friends. The way we learn is by teaching. So talk to your parents, talk to your friends, and if you don't understand something, write a note and then ask the question the following week. Or you guys got that wonderful device called YouTube. So I'm looking forward to the next few sessions. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. God bless.
Rhonda, you're on mute. Did you want?
Okay, all righty, Ms. Pavick, take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for taking time out of your Saturday to spend time with us. And I mean, really just want to applaud you because this is an investment in yourself. So just think of where you're at now and where you'll be at the end of May. All the information you're going to learn, there's a lot here. But the reason we want to have these Saturday classes is to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions about the courses that you take over the week. So my understanding is Ms. Rhonda had you do course number 1 and number 2 on the hands-on banking site. So if you have questions about that, this is your opportunity to ask questions about the information you received. And you can do it by, taking yourself off mute or putting it in the chat. We'd love to see your reactions to things too. So, give me a thumbs up every once in a while. I am really excited to be here today and just appreciate, again, you guys are spending time on yourself, increasing your knowledge. You can help your siblings and your parents with the information that you're receiving too. So it's really exciting. So thank you. Now, today, my friend Damien is here. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself, but he's actually going to be taking you through a lesson. We're not going to go through the courses, but we are going to cover the information in a PowerPoint and with the information that Damien shares today. So again, stop Damien at any time that you have a question. You can raise your hand, you can put it in the chat, but this time is for you guys to ask questions. So Damien, I'll turn it over to you and then I will start the PowerPoint when you're ready.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane. I appreciate that. So like Jane mentioned, my name's Damian Frias. I'm a branch manager in the Henderson area. I've actually been, I was just thinking about it. I've been a branch manager and I've held other positions, about 10 different branch locations. And that stems from when I started my career in California. And then I spent a year in Washington, D.C., transferring, as a banker and whatnot. And then ultimately coming back here to Nevada, where I've also worked at several other branches that you guys have probably walked into. So my branch is located on Horizon Ridge in Eastern, if you guys know where that's at. I think like Coronado High School and maybe one other is like right around the corner or something like that. So if you guys have a geographic, mind, because I know mine's here and there when it comes to, the things that are out here in Vegas and whatnot. So definitely, like Jane mentioned, we are here to support you, like Rhonda, Mr. Rayford. If you guys have any questions, I know there's a lot of VIPs on this call. Do not be discouraged or shy to ask a question. We will halt it all to answer your questions, because whatever you take away from these seminars and these classes, you'll be able to take back to your families and your friends, and you'll build that business and banking acumen that could really help you out for the rest of your banking career. Okay. So with that being said, Jane, you can go ahead and start the PowerPoint, and then we'll go from there. And while Jane does that, I'm going to put a few of you, not quite sure how many people we have joining us today. I was letting Miss Rhonda know my I'm on a new device, so it's a little tricky. It's a little smaller for me. But I would like to know, since this is the first kickoff class, I just want to know from a couple of brave volunteers. You guys can write it in the text chat or take yourselves off of mute. What are you looking to gain from this class, or what questions you have, or what you are looking to maybe build a little bit more expertise on for yourselves after this seminar, this class is over? Do you have any volunteers out there, or anybody brave enough to write down what they want to learn?
Rhonda, anything coming through on the chat?
Anything you went over in the lessons that you guys have talked about already?
Nothing in the chat so far. Step right up. Don't be shy. No questions?
No question. How many do any of you on the It's early on a Saturday. How many of you have checking or savings accounts right now? You could just you could raise your hand or put it in the chat. Is that something that you're looking at maybe doing or getting out of, is understanding the checking and savings accounts and the best way to use them?
Anyone? If you have a checking or savings account already, please put your note in the chat. Please give us a note.
Yeah, you could do a quick thumbs up.
Yeah, I can't see their thumbs. Because we're in share mode. All right, we'll keep it moving.
Okay.
You got it.
So everyone can see the presentation right now, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Thanks, Jane.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Appreciate that. So obviously, we've kind of already hinted about this with, having a checking or savings account. Have you ever been to a bank? Do you currently save your money? Or does anyone have a savings account, checking account, like Jane was mentioning, possibly even a certificate of deposit, anything like that, at your local financial institution? And it doesn't necessarily have to be with Wells Fargo. So if you have it with any of the credit unions, state banks, anything like that, I'm sure you guys have been to a bank. Come on, guys. Any of you guys out there?
They're here, and so far I will assume that no one has a checking or savings account, and all this information is brand new.
Brand new.
Right.
So then the great part is we're going to get a lot of questions just to make sure you guys understand everything there is to know about the basics, right? Before we move on. You can go ahead and play the video, Jane. That'd be great.
Money management is easy if you have the right tools for the job.
And the best place to get those tools is a financial institution, like a bank.
Exactly. Millions of Americans use banks, and chances are any successful person or business you can think of has a relationship with a bank. The fact is, banks offer safe and secure services that can help you save time and money and build a strong financial future.
Depending on where you live, you'll probably have a number of banks, savings and loans, or credit unions to choose from. So think long-term relationship and shop around for a financial institution that meets your needs.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So just a quick overview of the video there. There's a lot of different banks to choose from. Obviously, you got Chase, B of A, US Bank, Citibank, not to mention all the, the credit unions, the state banks, and a lot of them can differ depending on fees. A lot of them can differ depending on benefits and convenience. So I just want to kind of go over a couple of terms that are used in the banking industry that you might hear of when you walk into a bank. So you heard something called, safety. It's safe keeping your money into the bank, right? So it's risky to keep your money in cash. It could easily get lost, stolen, or even destroyed in an unexpected event, such as a house fire. By keeping your money in a financial institution, you have the peace of mind knowing your funds are always safe. Okay, so that's huge. Definitely keeping, once your money walks in the door and hand it over to a teller, you'll never have to worry about that money again. Something catastrophic happens or whatever the case is, there's insurances and stuff like that to get that money back to you guys. Okay. Definitely hold your money in accounts such as a checking or savings accounts. Loans help you buy big ticket items. Savings accounts help your money grow. Checking accounts help you buy things without cash. Okay, so a lot of this is just like convenience, making it easy. So we talked about a little about saving your money. So many people who don't have bank accounts use check cashing stores instead. Most of these stores charge very high fees. You can usually save a lot of money by using a bank. So for example, at our banks at Wells Fargo, most business accounts, if you don't have, a business or a checking account and you want to come in, the check's drawn off of a Wells Fargo business. That person that doesn't have a Wells Fargo account can come in and still negotiate and cash that check, even though they don't have a bank account with Wells Fargo. The thing is Wells Fargo is going to charge them a small fee to make sure that that check gets cashed, goes through the right channels, and gives them a service fee for that, right? So that check fee is $7.50, and that's just our non-account holder fee. But imagine if you were to go to like a check cashing facility or something like that, they'll probably charge you a little more, and they'll probably charge you on the percentage of cashing out that check. So that fee would be avoided if you did have a bank account with Wells Fargo coming in. You wouldn't have to pay for that fee, which we tell a lot of our customers, you know, if they do already currently have a bank, you can take it there to avoid that small fee. But a lot of times they need their money right away and they know they can get it cashed because the check's drawn off of Wells Fargo. So you kind of can see where the yin and yang comes in. Yes, of course, we want our clients to save money, but we are a for-profit bank, and we earn a lot of our dividends and our salaries based off of fees. So we will happily charge customers for that, right? Making it easy. The people who work at the bank are there to help you. So if you are brand new to the bank, they'll be happy to explain what accounts and services can help you with your money management needs. Now, I'll be repeating this throughout the seminar, and I'm sure everyone else that comes aboard that teaches a lesson. I would say when I was your age, I was very intimidated going into a bank. I've shared this before. I see the person in the suit in the back at the desk looking at the computer. They're doing this. I see the bank teller, very professional, counting all of the thousands and thousands of dollars of cash. I didn't feel like I could really go up to someone and ask them, hey, what's a checking account, or what's a savings account, or what's this or what's that? I'll tell you this, if you give us a call or you call any Wells Fargo, they will bend over backwards to help you out and give you that information over the phone. And if they don't, you let me know, okay? And I'll make sure that we address that. So for example, if you call my bank, Horizon Ridge and Eastern, my bankers or my tellers will answer any questions you have. It doesn't matter what age range you are, because we know that providing great customer service is going to be a key for that customer to come back to us. But at the same time, we'll provide you with the right resources that you'll need to have a better financial career and, not incur any fees or not do any of this. So I highly encourage you, if you guys don't get anything from this course or from what I'm saying, those people at Wells Fargo, and I'm sure at other banks, I just can't speak for them. Those tellers, those bankers are there to help you out. Those managers are there to help you out. We'll never turn you away. And if we do, we'll actually set an appointment up for you to either have that phone call or have that appointment for you to come in, and we can explain everything for you. Okay. Sound good?
Hey, Damien.
Yes.
So at the end of this, after all of you complete your class in May, at the end of May, we will have a tour of one of our branches, but I will give Miss Rhonda Damien's direct phone number at work. And so if any of you want to just go in there and visit with Damien and see his branch, if the Henderson location is convenient for you, just give him a call and he'll either be there, he'll set it up time that works for you. You could bring your parents too, but it might be something you want to do before you go through all the courses. But know that there will be a tour in May. But before that, if you want to come in, just give Damien a call and he can help, set up time. You can come in and check out the branch, right, Damien?
Yeah, that'd be great. I want to definitely work around your guys' schedule, because I know by the time you get out of school, you're probably, picking up brother and sister, going home and eating. It's probably a little later at that point. So if it's easier for you to give me a call too, we can definitely do that. Just name drop Rhonda or the 100, or, you went through this seminar, because just a lot of people come through the doors, and I want to make sure that I give you guys my undivided attention. Okay. For sure.
And And Damien, you mentioned, or you compared the difference between a bank and like a check cashing establishment.
Yeah.
And when you said that the fee that the check cashing establishment charges is usually a percentage of the check that they're cashing. So could you give us an example of, so if I bring $100 check into cash, do you know what is the percentage, like 20%? Is it 30, 40? What?
You know, I've seen it go up to like 15%, Jane. But it's one of those things where you absolutely want to deter that customer from going there as a last resort. Like even for us, we charge a flat rate of $7.50 if they come in without a Wells Fargo account and they want to cash a Wells Fargo check, right?
Yeah.
But think about like what's coming up, like tax season, people are getting their IRS checks and stuff like that. If we turn them away, we know exactly where they're going, and that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 check could turn into like $100, $200 easily, just off of fees alone. But the cycle is, you know, they need their money. Customers need their money, so they'll pay that, and they'll say, "Hey, you know what? I got $2,700 extra dollars. I can afford to, you know, I guess shell out $200, $300 in fees." And it's very disheartening, but at the same time, everyone's trying to make money. Everyone's trying to build up their savings, because that's typically what we see a lot of too as well. They'll use a lot of their debt and they'll build that up throughout the year. And then when their, you know, IRS check or their tax refund comes in, they use all that to pay it off, which we try to help customers out build their savings, right? So where they can use that as a safety net instead of something that they have to have already paid months in advance, or they have stuff on credit or stuff like that, which we'll get into in other lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So wouldn't you say it's just important for whether you cash your check at Wells Fargo or at Citibank or US Bank, or even if you do consider a check cashing place, you should always ask the question about what fee are you charging me to cash this check, and compare the fees, because I assume other banks have similar fees because it costs money to run the branch, but so ask questions. Yeah.
I've even done it to where customer comes in and they're like, "Hey, I just want to know if you're going to charge me a fee for this cashing this check." And we'll actually run the check and do a mock cashing of the check. "Oh yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, it is going to charge you this. You know, do you have an account with us to make it, you know, to avoid that fee?" "No, unfortunately." So if they want the check back, we'll put a little sticker on the little barcode that was scanned, and they take it to wherever they're going to take it to, and then go from there. So taking it to your home branch, your home bank, can definitely avoid those fees. But that's just one of the fees that are out there that could really grab a hold of the customers. And think about it. If you get paid every 2 weeks, 52 weeks in a year, you times that by $7.50. That's like our selling point to a lot of the customers, just to save. Think about saving that money. Nowadays, I mean, it's probably maybe a McDonald's number one, maybe Starbucks or something like that. But with inflation and all that, I mean, yeah, that can be a lot in just saving that money for sure in a savings account or something.
Okay, great.
Do we have any questions?
Hey, Damien, this is Kirk. Just want to jump in there for a second. And,
absolutely.
You know, just mentioning that having a relationship with a financial institution, your bank, wherever you are, it's in the long run, just like Damien said, it's going to save you money, save you time, and you building a relationship. You know, a lot of folks, a lot of these institutions, your level of service is based on your relationship. Sometimes it's length of time. Sometimes, yes, the amount of money you have, right, with them. But definitely building that relationship is going to help you out later on in life when you need to get a loan. When you need to, if you're having a hardship, and being able to talk with the bank about other options that they may have to help you. So in the long run as well, it's going to save you a lot of money, because a lot of different places you go, there'll be check cashing fees for this, wire fee for that, whatever it may be, and the inconvenience of it all. And now, you know, banks have a lot of good integrations, especially you can do a lot of your banking on your phone almost. So it's the cost saving yourself money on fees, saving yourself time also is very important. Being able to just use your phone. I can deposit a check on my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so it blows me away all the time. I get super excited about that, and I feel like I'm some super spy or something like that, depositing a check on my phone. But just wanted to throw that in there. You want to think big picture whenever you have an account, when you're opening an account, because it's really based on the relationship over time.
Man, I can't agree with you enough, Mr. Kirkland. That's key to creating a solid foundation for any institution that you go into. Because if you're coming to me, right, and I'm behind the teller line, I'm managing my tellers, and you're coming in every 2 weeks and you're cashing out your check, and I see you, I know where you work, we have small talk, this and that small payroll check is going to turn into probably a wire that you're going to send for a mortgage, or maybe a question you have on saving for a mortgage or a car loan or this or that. So I'm going to see that, and I'm going to remember you, and I'm going to think back to the relationship that we've already started with your small check cashing. And I'm going to make sure I get the right people involved. I'm going to make sure I take care of you because you've been coming here for, so long, or whatever the case is. So it's creating that rapport with your financial institution. And I'm telling you, if you go into a bank, especially at Wells Fargo, and their managers are too cool for school to say hello or to greet you, or we can't provide you coffee or water anymore because of COVID, but you let me know and I'll make sure that I get you off on the right foot. Okay. Because it's important, especially at the age that you're at right now, because we got so many tools to keep you outside of the bank, right? Those convenient tools, like Mr. Kirk said, you can order checks, you can wire money online, you can deposit all that. You come in, we'll take care of you, and you'll build that relationship as well. So for sure. Thank you for that ad, Mr. Gerlin.
Do you want me to move to the next slide?
If you don't mind, that'd be great. So 2 types of accounts are checking and savings accounts. Okay, so I'm going to quickly read you the definition of a checking account. So it's a convenient tool for managing your money day to day. An account that allows you to put checks or cash in or take money out. It allows you to get cash when you need it and pay for things in other ways than using cash, like writing checks or using a debit card. So different financial institutions offer a variety of checking accounts with different features, benefits, and fees. So shop around for the checking account that best meets your needs. So I can't speak for other banks, but at our location, we do have an account that is waived, I believe, from 13 years of age all the way up to 24. So if you're looking at shopping around and you want to know, hey, what's the best checking account? What's the best bang for my buck? We have one, no hassle, no fees, no nothing. You can definitely come in, and we'll give you more information on that as the lessons go on. For that specific checking account, you can use it day to day. It typically doesn't earn interest. We'll talk about that a little more as the lesson goes on too as well. And you can get a debit card. So how many of you out there have used like a parent or guardian, their debit card to buy something on Amazon or, anything like that? Have you guys used one with the supervision of your parent or guardian? Or is this all brand new?
And you could put right in the chat. Miss Rhonda, anything in the chat?
Nope, nothing in the chat.
Okay, or you could do a quick thumbs up. Have you checking account or with ATM? See, Miles is thinking. Okay.
So while we're waiting, one of the coolest features on the checking account is being able to get that debit card that you see there in the screen. So now they come with chip technology. So you see that little kind of chip looking thing right above the 4321. That jumbles up a code every time that you put it into a machine, a card, reader or something like that. If you go to like the gas pump or you're buying something from the grocery store, you're going to Taco Bell or whatever the case is, that will jumble up a code and it disguises it for a lot of the fraudsters out there. Because let's face it, there's fraudsters out there, and what they'll do is they'll have a skimming device, and that skimming device, they can either attach it to a portable, pin pad receiver, or they'll attach it to like an ATM or something like that. That chip does wonders with, trying to jumble up those numbers and being able to have that stuff transferred. So just a quick fraud, security. Anytime you're using your debit card, I always wiggle the ATM before I insert my card into that little section, right? It could be like a little green icon, or if you go to a store, you buy something, before you insert your card, I'll make sure that's nothing wiggling, because a lot of times those skimmers, they're not attached very good. So you can see them kind of move pretty easily. So I always do that. It takes a couple seconds, and it protects me. Okay. The coolest thing also about your checking account, it comes with that debit card, and every time that debit card is linked up to your checking account. It does not link up to your savings account. Okay. So there's a lot of misconceptions because people are thinking about overdraft protection that we'll talk about. But that debit card, when you buy something, it will automatically take from the money that you have in your checking account. Okay. So it's very important that you guys know how much money you guys have in your checking account. You guys know how to monitor your spending, because you don't want to buy something that's going to overdraft your account and then the bank's going to charge you that $35 fee. Okay. So it's very, very huge. Definitely we've come a long way with buying things online. So you can obviously, buy something from Amazon, Foot Locker, Whole Foods, you name it. And there's security features on there that will protect you using the actual card, but also it monitors it. So when we get something on our end, let's say if it was a fraudulent purchase or something like that, we can go ahead and put a claim in for you and get you that money back, right? So if someone does happen to take something from you using your debit card, or whatever the case is, make sure you do not give out your debit card to anybody, and you do not give out your PIN to anybody. Okay. Because if the bank knows that you did that, they will not get you your money back. Okay. But if someone fraudulently takes those card numbers, or like that skimming device takes that and uses it for something else, you can absolutely call the bank or come into the bank and we'll put a fraud claim in for you and get you that money back. Funny story. While we lived in DC, I remember, and I worked for the bank, and I had a wad of cash with me, Jane, and my wife just yelled at me so much because we'd be in the subway, and I don't know, I just liked having cash. She's like, do you know if someone takes that cash and mugs us, we're never going to get that money back? You better go put that money into the bank. That way, if they take our debit card or we get mugged or something like that, all we have to do is call up our bank and, report the card lost, and that's it, right? Get all our money back if anything was taken. But guess what? Nowadays, with the advancement of technology, I could pull out my phone, I could report my card lost, stolen, anything like that, or even freeze my card until I find it again. So I had to get a lesson, even though I was working with the bank, on how to protect my money. So hopefully you learn from me. Okay.
That secret is safe with me. I'm not going to tell anybody in the bank that story, because
yes, absolutely. So a little bit about security. So are you worried that a bank might mismanage your money or even go out of business? So all U.S. banks have to follow federal and state laws and regulations. Okay. And at most banks, your funds are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, otherwise known as FDIC. That means that if anything ever happened to the bank, the FDIC insures each person, so each person's money to at least $250,000. Okay. So for specific information, you can go to www.fdic.gov, or you can go into any banking location, and we have brochures and pamphlets of how all that works. But basically, we protect you up to $250,000. So if you have $249,000 and there's a crash, or there's like a war going on, like there is in Russia and stuff like that, the bank will get that money back through insurance as another means necessary. Okay. So any questions with that? And I don't want to get too into all that, but let's say you have more than $250,000. There are ways of increasing that, and it's through a trust account. So if you typically get you can get your accounts titled under a trust. You typically get that through a outside legal counsel, so like a lawyer that specializes in trust, or maybe you can get it online or something like that. So when you come in with specific beneficiaries, they're called successors, which each successor can raise that limit up to $250,000 extra. So if you guys are pulling in the dough and making, you're working hard for your money and you want the bank to protect it, my bankers will give you the right information to bring all that over and protect it that much more as your years and your career goes on. So we'll chat more about that later. Okay. Yes, Jane.
Damien, question.
Yep.
So that's the $250,000 limit. Every bank has that. If you have a checking account and a savings account at the same bank, does the $250,000 does it count both? Do you get $250,000 for the checking account and then $250,000 protection for the savings account, or is it?
Yeah, and that's a good question, because we get that often, and even like some of my bankers and stuff like that tend to get a little confused. That's why we try to stick to the brochure, because some of that stuff changes and things like that. But it goes off of each person, each social.
Okay.
So
okay.
They can have 10, 15 accounts. And a lot of times our customers think it's per account, but it doesn't work like that, because they'll have like 5 or 6 accounts. And kids, you can have a lot of accounts. I've seen people with 30 accounts, but the fact of the matter is it goes off of the social. Okay. So you can't manipulate it to
but it's still good to have the right account for what you're gonna accomplish, like checking accounts. What is the difference between the checking account and the savings account?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to read you the savings account definition. Okay, so a savings account is a safe place to put money aside for a future goal or an unexpected expense. There are several kinds of accounts that can be used for savings, including regular savings, money market accounts, and certificate of deposits, or CDs. So ask details for where you bank. Many bank offer websites that can assist you. So essentially, when you open up a savings account, and Jane, you might remember this, but we used to have like a Regulation D where you couldn't take money out of your savings account so many times in 1 month. But they scratched that because of COVID, because people needed access to their money. But essentially, if you put money in your savings account, we really wanted you to keep it there. 1, it protects you. 2, it generates that interest that's earned off of a savings account, because like we mentioned, a checking account doesn't really earn interest, but a savings account does. So if you're able to keep your money in a savings account, the bank will pay you for keeping your money into our accounts. Now, I will say this. Our savings interest rates are not the best right now. I think I checked last time, and it was like 0.01%. I mean, it was a penny for like every dollar, right? So the thing is, though, is when you keep the money into our account, the bank uses that money elsewhere, right? For like loans and stuff like that. So we obviously want you to keep your money in the savings account, but also it's a whole lot better than keeping it under your mattress or in a cookie jar, or like myself, in my pocket everywhere I went, because I wanted to feel that cold, hard cash. And I know for you guys that are, in high school, middle school and stuff like that, and you're getting your first job, it could be enticing to keep that money on you. But once that money's gone, it's gone. You can't get that money back, almost like if you were to write a check or use your debit card. Okay. I know there's a lot to that, so I'll leave it at that. Jane, Rhonda, Mr. Kirk, Mr. Rayford, Mr. Russell, if any of you guys have any stories, questions, advice, anything on that, kids, if you guys have any questions around the checking and savings account, I know there's a lot that goes into it. I want to make sure I ask and get your guys' questions answered from the expert panel. Okay.
So if any of the students have a savings account or they want to open up a savings account because they want to save for something particular, like their first car or their college education or anything like that, the best thing to do if you open up a savings account is to keep your savings account debit card in your drawer at home. Do not carry it in your wallet or your purse because you might be tempted to buy some ice cream or some cotton candy or some things like that that you really don't need. So if your objective is to really save money, do like me and keep your debit card at home in your drawer. That's all I have right now.
That's a good point.
That's very good. And even though, so again, this main difference for me when I think about it, all the accounts at the banks keep your money safe. So as opposed to if you, again, keep it at home in a drawer or, things could happen physically to the money and it would be gone. But if you have an account at a bank or a credit union, it keeps your money safe. It's insured, so you have insurance on it. And then the savings account, you do earn interest on it. So you earn money because the banks are paying you money. And it may not be a ton, but if you keep money in there, over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that it continues to build and you can just continue to save up for whatever goal you have, whether it's a car or going to college or, maybe when you graduate from high school, you're going to want to start a business of your own. So it's a good way to just pay yourself first when you get, put that away and then set some money out to maybe spend on something else that you want, but pay yourself first. And I know we're going to talk about that, so I won't say anything more, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the lessons that we're kind of going off of. Each lesson, it's around credit or interest or creating a budget. All these tools can definitely help you out. The checking and savings accounts are uniquely special to young people like yourselves. Okay, and I don't know if it's like some sort of glitch, or I don't know if it's like the bank understands that when a young person gets into the bank and they create that relationship before the age of 18, something happens to their relationship over time. It can be a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe where they get out of college, but it does wonders for their relationship and their credit building. So like, Rhonda, what are the age ranges right now? I know they're in high school, but do we have any middle schoolers, or they're all pretty much in high school?
So we have 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds in the class this semester.
So like I remember, great, thank you for that. I remember like when I first started with the bank, we had like a teen account, right? So when you were 13 years of age, you could come in with your parent or guardian and open up that account, right? So when the banker opens up that account at 13, 14, 15, 16, I mean, even 17, the minute that they turned 18, right, the account holder, which the primary is always going to be the minor at that time, because that's the way that we set up the account. Let's say they wanted to apply for a credit card, right? You can do it as early as 18. We're going to give you guys more guidance on that in the next lessons to come. But it was almost like every time they wanted to apply for that credit card before they went off to college or something like that, they got approved. And it was the wildest thing to me because, like, you would think there was, income and stuff like that to take into consideration. Obviously, there was. But Wells Fargo knows that when they invest at a young age, right, and obviously you have to manage your accounts good, right? You can't overdraft your account every week, and you can't, do certain things. The bank was more pervy to provide you with credit, and it wasn't going to give you like a wild line limit, because we have college cards and stuff like that, college credit cards. But it was so neat to see that Wells Fargo gave back to, and like I said, I don't know where it came from, but it was just when that individual had that relationship early on, it's almost like the bank gave them some sort of incentive to, manage their accounts good and stuff like that. So when they applied for their first credit card, they got approved, and it was the wildest thing. But just FYI, it's not going to be the case every time, but just so you know, the best, the way that you handle your checking and your savings accounts, right? You keep decent balances in there, you make appropriate deposits. It does work wonders for your guys' credit and your other benefits that you'll be receiving with Wells Fargo auto loans, great rates on interest and stuff like that. And we'll get into credit and all that as the lessons go on. So hopefully that helps, guys.
I was going to say that when you talk about managing your money, the next slide actually talks about that. So I'm going to go ahead and forward that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it does focus on ATMs, but
this is
worries. one way to manage your money.
Absolutely. So take my advice. Okay, use my example. You have a lot of cash with you, or whatever the case is. Ride your bike, hop in your car if you have a learner's permit, or whatever the case is. Go to the nearest ATM. I mean, they're everywhere. You can find pretty much a Wells Fargo ATM and deposit money into that ATM. Or just go into the bank or go into your local bank. I mean, like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a Wells Fargo account, as long as you start creating those habits for wherever you bank. Excuse me. You have a lot of different avenues to check your balances. You can check them at the ATM. Excuse me. You can check them at the ATM or through your online banking. Some of the risk that do come with ATMs is you have to watch out for withdrawal fees. I know you guys are a little, just new to the game with banking and whatnot, but for non-Wells Fargo ATMs, they will charge you fees. Okay, so let's say you opened up an account with Wells Fargo, you have a checking account, you want to go take money out of the ATM, you can do that absolutely, no problem, no fees. You can take money out of the account as long as you have the money in there, right? But let's say you're in a different part of town or a different part of the state or the country, and you wanted to withdraw funds from like a Chase ATM or a B of A ATM or, something like that. They'll let you do it. They'll charge you at least a minimum of $3 to take that out. Okay. I have seen it go as high as $5. They'll charge you, and then Wells Fargo will also charge you too as well. Okay. So keep an eye on those fees. And then, be mindful. I've already mentioned this. Do not share your PIN. And, I get it. Your mom or your dad, or your parent or guardian, I know could be easy and stuff like that, but create good habits, starting off early. I know my brother, when I grew up, he would give me his debit card with his PIN, and he'd have me go to the ATM and withdraw money for him. Probably not the best thing to do, but, you just use your, just experiences and stuff like that, create good habits and go from there. Okay. Now, what I've learned while I've created my banking relationships, because I also have another bank account, just because my wife had another account before we met, and she's had that for many, many years. I've had Wells Fargo for many, many years. Kids, you don't want to go against your wives or your spouses, so make sure you guys compromise. So I also have that bank account. So I've noticed when I go to those ATMs, I insert my card, and automatically they give me the card right back out. And then I go ahead and I process my transaction. At our ATMs, you insert your card, you do the whole transaction, and then you take out the card at the very end, right? So I say this because I do not want you to walk away thinking that you got your card when you didn't, or oh, I got my money now, so I must have gotten my card already, and then you walk away. Okay, so you never want to leave your card in the ATM. At our ATMs, it will beep for maybe about 30 seconds or so that your card is in the ATM to give like you some knowledge that you do have something left in there, or the person behind you can kind of see like, hey, your card is still left in the ATM. If you don't retrieve it in about that 30-second time frame, our machines will suck it back in. So for security, they will suck it back in. And then we have a little compartment in our ATMs that we're able to go in and retrieve it if you were to come back. Little disclaimer, my location, we service our own ATMs. So if you leave your ATM in my ATM, I can go in there and grab it for you. You don't have to close it. You don't have to do anything like that. I say a disclaimer because if you go to another branch, Brinks or Loomis, the money couriers, they service those ATMs, and unfortunately, they won't be able to get you that card back. They'll close it out. The bank will actually close it out after about a week or so. They'll shred it. They'll do all that good stuff. But it's kind of a hit or miss depending on which branch you go to. Okay. Any questions with any of that? I think the next slide talks a little bit more about.
The next slide is another tool to manage your money, and that is with apps on your phone, which I am not knowledgeable because I'm just getting used to my cell phone. So I'll let you talk about that, Damian.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild, the stuff that's going out right now with, it's almost like every bank is trying to compete with like what the best app. We just came out with a brand new app. Shout out to, excuse me, those that have Wells Fargo and have tried out the new app. I think everyone's probably already gotten the rollout. So hopefully you guys like it. It's supposed to be more streamlined, simplified, easy to navigate. So every app is different, but we want to make sure that our users can easily navigate. If you want to transfer money, right, you can transfer money through forms of like Zelle, right, or transfer from one bank account to another. You can do wire transfers. That's something that just came out recently, not too long ago. Our wire limit is $25,000. So most people don't know that when they come into the bank. So if you're trying to close on a loan or wire money to a business investor or something like that, you don't even have to come into the bank anymore. You can do it up to $25,000 from your phone. They'll give you the confirmation. You can send that over to whoever needs it and kind of go from there. You can order checks. The biggest thing for us at the bank is closing out cards. We used to get a lot of those just in our teller line or in our banker line. But now the customer can do that right from their phone. So like if you download the Wells Fargo app, you can freeze your card. If you're like, I know it's in my house somewhere, I don't want to close it because if I close it, I have all my automatic payments come out of that debit card. Is there a way that I can stop it? Yeah, absolutely. You can freeze your card. And then when you find it, you can unfreeze it and continue using it. You can also replace your card. Like let's say if it was damaged, you can replace it with the same card number. Or if it was lost, you can order a whole new card with a whole new 16-digit number and make it convenient. And you'll get it in about 3 to 5 business days. Okay. In addition to that, you have things like the digital wallet, which is like another just feature that's blowing people's minds, because I think if you're over a certain age and you come in, they quickly say like, no, I don't want to, do that right now. Or I don't know anything about that. The fact of the matter is if you have a smartphone and you have internet on your phone, anybody could use these features, right? Like digital wallet, you got Apple Pay, you got Google Pay, you got Samsung Pay. So essentially, like if you come into the bank and you open up an account, the banker with your request, we won't do anything without your request. If you choose to open up a debit card, that debit card will already be linked to your digital wallet. So the banker can actually help you digitally download that card number onto your phone. I know you guys know what I'm talking about because you guys know more of this than I do. So you can go to your digital wallet in your Samsung or your Apple Pay or whatever, and you can see that actual debit card on your phone. So why that is important? Because Wells Fargo doesn't offer instant cards anymore. We don't offer them. So you either have to wait for your card to come in the mail, or guess what? You use your digital wallet and you download it to your phone, and you can use it at the ATM. You can wave your phone over the ATM, or you could go and wave it over the Verifone machine to pay for, you know, your groceries or your food or whatever the case is, and make it that much easier. Okay.
Damien, does the app tell you how much money you still have in your account before you?
Oh yeah, I was gonna
use it to buy something.
Absolutely. So when you log into the account, it's quickly going to show you how many accounts you have with us. So it might show you like your checking account or your savings account. If you click on that checking account, it's going to show you your balance to the right. But if you want to see what's come out, you can actually click on the checking account link, and you can see everything that you've purchased. Very important, because like years past, you've actually been able to, like, you know, write your purchases down with a register. It's called like a register, where you're able to write in your checks and balances, like what's come out, what's come in. But nowadays, a lot of people use their app for their budgeting tools. So you can actually see what's come out, what hasn't come out. And what you'll notice is if you've seen something that you've already purchased, a lot of times, depending on the merchant, it won't come out automatically. You'll see it pending, and then sometimes you might see it even removed completely. But a lot of times, once they're ready to debit, they'll actually debit accordingly. Very rarely do you see this with, like, you know, a lot of merchants. But we're getting so savvy with our online. The minute you purchase something, it'll come right out of your account, and you can see that immediately from your mobile banking. Okay, so like Jane said, if you want to buy, you know, something for mom or dad, and it costs $50, but you only have $40 in your account, you can go and check it from your online banking and see exactly how much you have and what you've spent. Because if you do spend a little more than that, they will charge you some pretty hefty fees for that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you.
Hey, did I answer that?
Yeah, you did. And
Okay.
It's just important. I mean, we've got all these tools. You guys have all these tools to help manage your money when you put it into any sort of bank, and the different accounts, checking, savings, but you still need to keep track of how much money you have in your account. And you need to make sure that when you make a decision to buy something, that you have enough money to cover that. So you did. So the next couple slides talk about the different ways to use these tools to put money in your account. So should I go to those, Damien?
Yeah, that sounds great. So talking about depositing money, okay? So what does the term deposit mean? Obviously, it's just making a deposit, whether it's electronically, maybe through your mobile phone, coming into the bank, or at the ATM, right? So how do you put money into the bank? And it's really, really quite simple. You have those options with the advancements of technology. I mean, you don't even have to leave your house anymore to make a deposit. It'll tell you what to do exactly from your phone. You write some stuff on on your check, and kind of go from there. So it says using your phone to make a deposit to your checking account. So the step one, you always have to sign the back of your check, okay? And that's called an endorsement. So you want to make sure you endorse your check. The reason why is because the bank has to verify that person is wanting to negotiate it. And the way that they label that is through your signature. I have seen the bank return checks based on the fact that there has not been an endorsement on the check. Okay, so you want to make sure you sign that check. Next, you want to do is open your banking app. You want to log in, which the bank will create your username and password when you open up your bank account. You want to select the deposit option for and enter the checking amount. So it's very self-explanatory. I'll tell you exactly how much the check is from your check, and you just plug that into the app. And then next, you are going to take a picture of the front of the check, and it'll tell you if it's not a good picture. It might have you even retake it, but most of the time, the camera is pretty advanced on that. So once you take the front of the picture, then you'll take the back of the picture, take a picture of the back of the check, and then lastly, you'll confirm your deposit. So I'll tell you exactly how much you wanted to deposit. And I think that is it. So, I mean, it's something as easy as that. My bankers actually walked you through that. If you do bring in a check, they'll show you how to do that right after getting the account open. So that way we can kind of guide you. And if you have any questions, we can show you how to do that. But next is excuse me. Next is using the ATM to make a deposit to your savings account, right? So we'll show you how to do that. Putting your ATM card in the card slot. Then use your keyboard or use the keyboard to enter in your PIN. I always, excuse me, guys. I always cover my PIN. I mean, wherever I go, I always kind of like shadow, put a hand over my PIN and cover it up. So that's just a good security feature. Once you enter in your PIN, you're going to select deposit and then savings on the screen. If you don't see the savings on the screen, it'll have like other accounts or other options. You can click on that, but for the most part, you'll see the accounts labeled on that screen. Okay. And then you're going to use the keyboard to enter, for example, $40, and then press enter. And then you're going to put the cash or checks into the deposit slot. Okay. So it's going to differentiate which one you're going to do first. So it might have you put the cash in first, and you can put up to 30 bills at one point. So you can just stick them in there. I make sure they're like, kind of in order. I make sure like there's no checks or no, dollars that are sticking out. I kind of make sure they're all kind of in one little pile. I stuff them in. Then the machine will scan and do all that good stuff. It says, take your ATM card and then your receipt. So you'll confirm your deposit. If you have two deposits, maybe a check and cash, you'll make another deposit. It will give you the option to make another deposit. Then you'll enter in the check, make sure the check is endorsed. And then once the ATM confirms it, give you your receipt and your ATM card. Remember to not leave your ATM card. Okay.
So before we go into withdrawing money, Damien, all these tools that you just talked about, when someone opens an account, and this is definitely at Wells Fargo, and we would assume that other banks do the same thing, but when they open the account, they'll get the signature, your signature, when you open your account. They will show you how to use the mobile app, and they can also walk you through using the ATM. So the people in the bank are there to help you understand all of these different options to manage your money. So that's one thing to expect when you go to open an account at a bank. Can people open an account over online too?
Yeah, they can. Some I guess for like the teen account and like that type of account for like a young adult, they would have to actually come in to the bank. But like if you're over 18, you can absolutely open up your account online. And I've heard it takes about like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to do so. I've actually we get so bombarded because our staffing and a lot of our, we don't have the manpower like we used to have. So customers will come in and they want to open an account, but like my bankers will be busy. We don't have any appointments left over for the day. So if they need an account open, we'll have them sit down and, hey, you can actually open your account online. And if you have any questions, just let us know and we'll walk you through it from like a teller or something. And they'll do it. They'll open up right then and there. It takes about like 10, 15 minutes.
Do you guys have any questions? This is a lot of information, but Alvin, Miles, Andre, and I see we've got Aliciana has joined us as well. Do you guys have any questions about any of this? Rhonda, is there anything in the chat? You can always put a question in the chat if you have questions there.
Okay, let me check the chat. In the chat, okay. So I know Alicia, she introduced herself And that is all we have in the chat. One of our guests said no, they didn't have any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. So now we're going to talk about taking money out. And
Awesome. So just like a deposit, you're going to enter well, actually, what does the term withdrawal mean? Obviously, it's to take money, to take something away or take something out. And in our jargon, it's to withdraw money, to take out your money. And how do you do that? So a couple options. We'll talk about how you do it through the ATM. But if you come into the teller line, we can do it actually electronically. So if you have a debit card, or your Apple phone or your Samsung, you can just hover your phone over, enter in your PIN, and we'll be able to withdraw money for you. If it's a larger amount, we do have to have you endorse a withdrawal slip, which we'll get into soon. And based off that, the teller will process it, provide you your money, and you'll be on your way. Okay. Do you want to go to the next slide there, Jane?
it's quiz time.
Oh yeah, it is. So before that, before we get into that there, any questions with withdrawing money? It's literally the same exact thing as you're doing it, depositing money. You're going to insert your card at the ATM, enter your PIN, select which accounts you want the money to come from. And our ATMs are structurally, you're able to take out in increments of $20. So you kind of have to, play around with it a little. I know there's other ATMs that are out there that'll let you take out other denominations, but for the most part, it's $20 increments. Once you do that withdrawal, hand out your money. Most debit cards come with an ATM limit. It could be, 300. Now I think they've raised it up to about 700 because of COVID. But I have seen it go as high as 1,000. So you're able to take up that much money at the ATM. Okay. Don't forget your card, your receipt. That's pretty much it.
Cool. And so this quiz is about the information that we just covered on the PowerPoint. I think Miss Rhonda still has her quiz that she wants to do that's separate from this. Is that right, Miss Rhonda?
That's correct.
Okay. So do you want to read the questions, Damien, or do you want me to do that?
Yeah, no, I can read it here. So okay. What does available balance mean? So to have an available balance.
I can answer the question.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Hello. Please excuse that I am in the car. I'm on the way to another event.
Available
balance is usually, hello, my name is Luciana Harvey Lopez. Available balance is usually the amount that you have left over after everything that you've spent and all other dues that you're able to now use, that the bank allows you to use, that's left over.
Yeah.
Perfect. 100 extra cars. Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
And then, so thank you for that. And then moving on to question 2. So what is the best way to avoid spending more money than I have in my account? So what do you guys think? What's the best way to avoid spending more money than I have in my account?
I think Aliciana, did I say your name correctly? Am I saying your name correctly?
Aliciana, yes, I can answer the question.
Go for it.
I just want to make sure I'm not taking up too much. The best way to avoid spending more money than you have in your account is, one, to make sure you know how much money is in your account and what other dues may be taken from your amount, and also to make sure you're planning out how this could affect any other transactions.
Absolutely. So well said. Thank you for that. And you have in order to check that stuff, you have your budget and your apps that you can see what you have coming in, coming out, and then tracking your spending, right? We talked a little bit about using the bank register. So yeah, definitely. Thank you for your answers. Those are awesome. Appreciate that.
Does anyone else have any other ideas as well? We've got more questions, so. Okay. Go for
All
it, Damien.
right. Question 3. What can happen if I buy something with my debit card that is more than what I have in my checking account? Ooh, that's a good question. So what can happen if I buy something with my debit card that is more than what I have in my checking account?
Okay. Is there anyone thinking the chat? I see Luciana has her hand up.
I can answer the question again.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Absolutely.
When you try and take more money out than what you have, what usually happens is that your card can either be declined, so it won't go. Well, usually your card will be declined and won't go through your payment.
Absolutely. So for one, your card will not go through in most cases, right? But let's say hypothetically it does go through. A lot of our customers have certain features that allow the card to actually process that transaction, which can then incur. Do you know what happens after that? If yeah, go for it.
Yes. So sometimes there's two different things. One, your account could be connected to another account, which then the money from your other account can transfer into whatever account that's needed. And then also banks have the ability where they will pay for your kind of negative into what you're to do, and there you have to pay them back, and with over time that will be require interest, so you can end up having to pay them more money than you actually owe them.
Jane, I think we need to get her to facilitate one of our lessons going forward, because she is a rock star. Yes. So you've actually touched upon overdraft protection, which if they didn't have money into that checking account, it can pull from another account that has the money. Fun fact for you, something that just changed recently is instead of the bank charging you an overdraft fee of $35, when it does that rollover from that overdraft account, it typically charged you $12.50 to do that transfer. But Wells Fargo has eliminated that fee as of maybe like a month ago. So if you have to pull from your savings account to do an overdraft protection transfer, they're not going to charge you to do that. You can actually do that free of charge. And then like our guest mentioned, we won't charge you the fee. We won't charge you the overdraft fee, and you'll be able to make that purchase and go on your merry way. Yep.
Yeah. Miss Rhonda, is there any questions in the chat or any other feedback in the chat?
No questions in the chat.
Okay, great. Thanks, Luciana. Okay, question 4. Oh, there's the answer. Overdraft and overdraft fees. That's the short answer. Good, but really good discussion. Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, that might be the last. That was the last question. So Damien, if you want to provide that, wrap it up.
Yeah, and just to wrap up, hopefully from this lesson, we're able to just kind of let you guys know what do banks do, what kind of services the bank offers. We talked about ATMs and apps and depositing money, withdrawals. These are a lot of the basic questions. And like I mentioned before, if you guys do have questions, if you or your parent or guardian do have questions, you guys can absolutely pick up the phone, give me a call at my branch or your local Wells Fargo, and they would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Like, for example, what's needed to open up a checking or savings account, right? So like before you go to the bank, 2 forms of current photo ID are usually required. Ask your bank what forms of identification they accept, money to deposit, prepare by asking your bank in advance if there is any minimum deposit requirements. So this is why I mentioned, like, don't be intimidated by your local bank. I take great pride, my customer service scores, because we do get graded on that type of stuff. I take great pride in making sure that all our customers are taken care of. And if they're not, I pick up the phone and I call them and I find out what we can do better. So I mention this because each branch manager really takes the time to make sure that when the customer comes in, all their questions are answered by the time they leave. So if you guys don't feel comfortable, or let's say if you're a young adult and you don't have the means to get to a bank, please pick up the phone, give me a call. You guys know who I am already. You guys can definitely, ask any question you'd like. Let me know if you guys have any other questions, or a parent or guardian, if they have a question, please let them know, give me a call, and then I'd be more than happy to help out. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully that sticks in your guys' brains. Don't be too, intimidated or shy. Go into your bank. That's your guys' bank account, because if you guys did not have that bank account there with us, we wouldn't have jobs. So think of it that way. We are your employees. So if you guys have any questions, please let us know. Okay. Jane, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks. And I will send Miss Rhonda Damien's phone number and his work email address, so you guys could contact him. As he said, this is the basics. So this is building the foundation. And each week you guys are going to learn more and more information about managing money, about how you can save up for the goals that you have in mind, whether, again, it's car, college, trade school, opening your own business. So this is the foundation. And we just really appreciate, again, you guys spending Saturday with us. I think Miss Rhonda and maybe some of the other leaders might have some additional words of wisdom. I'll just ask really quick, Miss Rhonda, are there any other questions or comments in the chat?
No, they're not. However, now it is time to take the test. So what I'd like for everyone to do is, I have placed in the chat the link to the test. Can everyone see it, and can everyone access it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. Now let's do the first couple of questions we're going to do together. So the first question is, what chapter you're working with on this program? And the answer to that question is the Las Vegas chapter. So the answer to the first question is the name of the 100 Black Men chapter is Las Vegas chapter. Everybody have that? Okay, great. The second question is your first and last name. You should be able to answer that one. Your first and last name. The second question. Has everybody opened up the link? I want to make sure I'm not going too fast. Has everyone opened up the link?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone? Okay. Let's see. Alvin, have you opened up the link, you and Andre? Okay, great. I see your thumbs up. Okay, fabulous. The next question is your city and state. So you live in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's the answer to that. The next question is your age. You should be able to answer that. The next question is your grade. You should be able to answer that. And then the program start date would be today, April the 9th. April the 9th is the answer to that. Then the questions under there, you should be able to answer without my help. So once you have completed the test, please send me a note in the chat or give me a thumbs up letting me know you have completed it.
All right, young people, I gotta run. Take your time on your exam. Let Rhonda know you completed. God bless. Thank you, Damien. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Aliciana, Kurt, Russell.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you guys later. God bless. Thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Thanks, Daryl.
I was trying to unmute myself. I apologize. Just want to say thanks a lot again today. This was great. Aliciana, I hope I didn't butcher your name again. Thank you so much for all the great engagement and answering some great questions there. I can tell definitely you're well on your way to being financially fit. That's awesome. Alvin, Andre, everyone else that joined in, thanks so much. And I hope to see you guys next week. And once again, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks, Damien. Thanks, Jane. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you. See you soon.
How's it going, Miles? Okay, good. I see you answering the chat. Thank you.